Good morning, everyone, and welcome to what is a great day for Boston College athletics and a historic day for BC hockey. First, I want to thank Father Leahy, Father Jack Butler, Kevin Shea, and David Traynor for all their assistance throughout this entire search. We are thrilled to bring back Greg, his wife Catherine, his daughter Ashley, who is a BC grad of 2020, and your son Peyton, who is set to graduate next Monday, both of whom are taking exams right now, am I right? So they couldn't be here. How dare them, right? But before I call up Greg to the mic, let me just brag about him for a moment. Greg has already accomplished so much on the ice as an Eagle. He was the team captain and an All-American. He was a Hockey East Player of the Year. He was an Olympian, and he's already a BC Hall of Famer. And as an assistant and an associate head coach under Jerry, you brought in 3 national championships in the span of 5 years. Fantastic stuff. But he's also a man of character. He's a man of integrity. And he's a man who is more than ready to lead this storied program into the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the next Schiller family head men's hockey coach, Greg Brown.
Thank you, JM. It's great to see everybody. I learned 2 things from Jerry after watching his press conferences for 14 years. The first, be brief, and the second, don't talk about yourself. So I will live by those guidelines today and going forward. First, I have to say, there's no place I'd rather be than right here. I'm so excited to be back at Boston College, seeing these familiar faces. It's incredible. I'm really overwhelmed. We know BC is a special place. We know BC hockey is an incredible community, and the number of people who've reached out to me, teammates, classmates, players we've coached over the last week has been truly humbling. Mike Maloney's here. He took me on my recruiting visit in 1986, and he's here today. That's the community we have here. As I mentioned, I'll be brief. First, I just have to say a few important thank yous, then I'll talk a little bit about this year's team, and then I'll answer any questions. As for thank yous, Father Leahy and JM and the committee that he mentioned for giving me this opportunity. I'm truly humbled and blessed and so grateful to be back here working on this team, with this team. My wife, Catherine, I don't know what to say. If you're in athletics, I mean, she knew what she was signing up for, but wow. We've moved to 16 different cities and 6 different countries, and she's embraced every one of them, especially even when she was dragging our kids around, over to Europe, back and forth as toddlers by herself. No easy feat. Our kids, Ashley and Peyton, they've been so supportive of me and our teams. As JM mentioned, Peyton's taking an exam right now. Ashley, I remember in 2007, we lost the national title to Michigan State. She was so upset, she left her seat and ran up to try and get to the upper balcony to yell at the Michigan State fans to stop cheering. She scared my wife half to death. She was 9 years old, but we did find her. My parents, Kurt and Marge, who gave Doug and I our foundation, both in life and in hockey, and they're a huge reason why we identify with the Jesuit ideals so much. They also spent a lot of time on this campus. Between Doug and I and their 2 grandchildren, they've watched games here for over 30 years. Some teams, some places that I've worked recently. The Dubuque Fighting Saints, owner Brad Kwong, GM Callie Larson, 2 terrific people who gave me my first opportunity to be a head coach. And I'm very indebted to them. Evan Dixon and Justin Hale, my two assistants there, who made the transition so smooth, and it would have been much tougher without them. David Quinn, I know it's hard to thank a BU guy on this campus, but the opportunity he gave me to go come with the New York Rangers and learn under him. I'll take what I learned with Dave, so much stuff, and use all that here at BC. Dave's overcoaching at the World Championships right now, representing USA, and I'm very sure he'll be behind an NHL bench before long. And then there's Coach York, right? Jerry gave me my first start here. I learned so many life lessons under you. Your guidance for 14 years. He creates a culture of joy and positivity, but also is able to maintain everyone being accountable to each other, and that's no easy task. I believed I was meant to be a coach, but it was only a short time after being with Jerry that I knew this was my path. The list of other people that I have to thank, Jim Logue, so many others, is far too long, and I will have to do that personally, but I will do it as soon as I can. So as I said, I will be brief. For next year's team, some of these guys right here, right? It's always exciting because every team forms its own identity, right? They have to fill voids left by departing seniors. People are in new roles, and it's always fun to come together and figure out the hierarchy and where everyone belongs. The comforting thing to me is I know I'm walking into a great culture. That's so important because when you have that foundation, you have the ability to grow. And I look forward to that growth with these guys. Because the truth of it is, winning is hard. It's really hard. Ask any coaches in this room, right? I know from 2005 to 2012, Jerry made it look not that hard. We had an incredible run, but it is hard, right? Some of the guys that were in that run, you watched last night, win game sevens for their respective teams. Chris Kreider got a huge goal for the Rangers, and Johnny got an overtime winner in game 7 for Calgary. So you need some more players like that. Another alum, Chris Masters, described it best when he said to me, you know when you see grown men throwing their sticks, gloves, and helmets in the air and piling on each other like they're little kids? That's because it's hard. It's really hard. And we will try and shoot for that goal every single day to get to that point. So, as I mentioned several times, I will be brief. I'm so excited to be back here at Boston College. I really don't have the words to describe how enjoyable it is to be walking here for the first time today and starting tomorrow. I cannot wait to start working with Mike, Brendan, and Brooks, and to get to work with these kids here. It's going to be a fun, fun journey. So thank you. I appreciate all of you showing up today, and wishing Acacia and the women's lacrosse team best of luck in the tournament. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up to questions. If you could just state your name and affiliation. Mike's got a mic over here.
Andrew Mahoney, Boston Globe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your resume speaks for itself, and you've only been gone for 4 years, but the landscape has changed significantly with one and dones and the transfer portal. Just how long do you think it'll take you, if at all, to get up to speed?
Well, the one and dones was starting when I was here, and it's certainly more prevalent now. The transfer portal is a new thing, so I'll have to figure that out. But with the other 3 coaches returning, I'm sure they'll get me up to speed very quickly.
Hi, Rich Thompson, Boston Herald. Have you got to meet any of the incoming freshmen, and what do you think of that crop?
I've connected with them by phone and text. I know a few of them who played in the USHL or against us in the USHL, so I'm familiar, but I haven't been able to watch them nearly as much as I like to. That'll be something for this summer, to watch a lot of video and get up to speed with them. One of my old teammates' sons, Cutter Goche, is coming to play for us, so I know that family very well, and I'm sure by the fall, I'll be up to speed on the rest of them as well.
And kind of asking what Andrew was saying about the portal, but do you still feel you have to build the foundation through recruiting?
Absolutely. I think you can use the portal best when you do have early departures. I think you can fill in some quality players that are older and experienced, but you definitely want to build the foundation from recruiting and build your team from freshmen on up.
Hey, Coach. Ethan Ott, BC Heights. When you were here coaching under Coach York, was there anything about his coaching style other than accountability that stood out and you tried to mirror in your own?
The incredible positivity he has. Some coaches can have their players nervous or afraid to make mistakes, and under Coach York, the players were so eager to go over the bench and to make the difference. I think that's such an important part. It plays into a huge, boost of confidence when you know your coach believes in you. So I will definitely try and emulate that and have the kids excited to be the difference rather than to try not to mess up and not be the difference.
One more question.
Yeah.
Did your 1 year with Dubuque kind of give you a better, base for this job than suppose from just coming as an assistant?
Sure. I think anytime you get practice being the head coach, you certainly talk a lot more. So that's one thing I had to get used to. But I think also just the fact that you're running the ship is different. As an assistant, you're more individual, you're more, helping guys in small little areas, whereas the head coach, you're using broader strokes. So I definitely got a lot of experience with that in Dubuque.
You referenced this just a second ago, but it's your intention that the coaching staff will remain?
Yes, they will.
And-
Go ahead.
Well, no, I imagine there's a comfort level from your time you worked with some of those guys, or maybe even all of those guys when you were an assistant.
I worked with Mike for 4 years. I've always known Brendan. I haven't worked with him, and of course I've known Brooks for a long time as well. So I'm very familiar with all three, and it'll be great to get started with them. We good?
All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks again. So excited to be here.
That was all for public consumption.